Hi guys. Like I said, this is the video on preparing to do a reading on the night of the new moon. And the new moon is the start of a whole new cycle. Um, there's a new moon and a full moon in each month. And then when you do the calendar phase schedules, um, you will see that they're done in quarters. You know, a new moon is not being able to see the moon. It's black. Some people call it a black moon or something like that. A full moon is usually called by its name, which for this month it's known as the worm moon. Don't ask me why. I have no idea. Um, there are certain things that I do to prepare for something like this. And one is to make sure that I have my moon water so that I can bless everything that I use. You make your different holy waters by gathering the rain, and you can make moon water, which you would gather into a clean container and then pour into your bottles, and then you would sit it under a full moon from the time the moon peaks until it disappears in early morning. Then you would take your moon water and you would put it in a rather dark, secluded area so that it doesn't lose its charge it got from the full moon. Then you have sun water, which is collected the same way, only it is charged by the sunlight, which means you would put it out the minute the sun rises. You would move it at intervals to keep it in the direct sunlight so that it is charged fully. And then when the sun sets, you do the same thing. You bring it into the house and you put it next to your moon water. Then you have just regular moon water, which is blessed, and you gather it in a clean container, and you just set it under any moon then. And that's for everyday blessing and stuff like that. You can, put it on, make symbols on your windows and stuff like that. People won't see the symbols, but you can do that. The fourth type of water I make is storm water, which I collect during very dangerous storms, lightning storms with lots of rain. And the water gets its charge from the lightning. And it can be a dangerous situation. And I will let you know now that when I use storm water, it is to counteract something that has been done to someone. So say somebody told you they no longer liked you and they wished you were dead, and then you get that hurt feeling inside. Well, you can always, let me know, or if you know how to do it, you can use your storm water. You bless everything in your storm water. You make a prayer or a spell to send it back to them. But I advise not to do that unless you have a loophole spell. And that is a spell that you have to either be given permission from one that has one, or you can make up one of your own. But a loophole spell protects you. You after you do the spell, you do the loophole spell, and it protects you and your family from getting that back, because whatever they send to you, you are sending it back to them threefold, which is 3 times stronger than when they said what they did. I don't know of anybody that has died from it. So, because there's no such thing as white magic or black magic or gray magic for that matter. It's all just magic. Some are born that way. Some practice at being one. But it's just being good to yourself, the earth, your surroundings, things like that. So this is why I wanted to do a new moon reading, because there's so many things that are bothering me about this stuff I'm seeing on Julian. The news, it's not changing. They just add another week to it, or another day, or they find an article that was written when it first happened and they just recycle it, and they might put on there 2 days ago. I want to know why, if this horrific storm was coming in, why all of the San Gabriel Mountains were not shut down. Only the area where Julian was supposed to become, had went missing. That's the only area. When I found out Julian was missing, I started doing my pendulum readings right then and there. And every day I would do it at different times to see if he was still there and see if he was okay. And every time my pendulum told me yes, he was okay. We all know of the mishap that happened on one of his mountain climbings, where they were stranded, I think, for like 7 weeks, 8 weeks, something like that, where people in the party actually did perish. So he did survive. I mean, he had to watch colleagues, or whatever you want to call them, they perished under the conditions. So that lets me to believe that, yes, Julian is a very experienced hiker when it comes to those situations. I can't remember which mountains it was. I want to say the Andes, and that's probably right. So that is why, we want to find out what is going on. The dreams I've been having, seeing this farm. A lot of you had said that, he has a farm in Kent in the UK. So that would answer that. Also that, with the people that I know on Facebook that are the same thing that I am, there are a lot of them that live around that area and around those mountains. And, they did get a lot of snow, but they said the San Gabriel Mountains, where Mount Baldy's at and everything, was not hit as hard in that direct area because the mountain, it was blocked. So they kind of find it hard to believe about avalanche unless it had to do with the cold and rain and stuff like that, and it froze the snow. There are people who live not far from where Julian and his family live that they know that he walks to his favorite coffee shop every morning, maybe a couple times a day. He visits with his friends and stuff, and he has a very strict schedule when it comes to those particular things. His friends, his fans, and stuff like that, they mean a lot to him because, as he has stated, without us, he wouldn't be where he's at. It is our love and our devotion and stuff that has made him the person that he is. And as he checks to see which movies that we watch the most. And unfortunately for me, it's Warlock 1 and 2. It was the very first movie I ever saw him in. I was very young when it came out. And I mean, how often do you see a warlock with long, beautiful blonde hair and a sexy smile? You don't. So that captured my heart. But, we want to do the readings. I will be using Dragon's Blood. It is white sage dipped in a resin. The resin comes from trees out of South America and Africa. And then the white sage is wrapped, and then the wrapping, the string or whatever, and the sage is all dipped in to that, and then it's set to dry. It is submerged to where it gets down into the cracks and everything. Not everything will be covered with the dragon's blood, but trust me, it's more than you know. And I like it. It has a different sensation, a different smell. It's more energizing. I also use Dragon's Blood's incense sticks. It's covered with the same resin as this is. And you can find these at local convenience stores and stuff. They come in big packs. They're about 2 feet long, so it shows you how much I've used this to bless everything and all of that. Second, you want to ground yourself, and the best way to do that is to go outside if it's warm enough and take your shoes off and wiggle your toes in some dirt. If you've got quartz, it's always good to take some quartz with you and hold it, and you want to breathe in and breathe out so that you get all the negativity out of your body. If you don't, if you've got citrine, then you can use it because it's number 2 on the list for grounding. So you can use those. We will use a white candle and a black candle, one for positivity, one for negativity. And the white candle will help more positive energy, while the black candle directs the negativity the other way. The candle colors I will be using are just general colors, but they represent each one of my ancestors, the gods, which would be Odin for strength and wisdom, Thor for strength, Tyr for strength as well, and I will be calling upon Loki, which that's going to be a handful, keeping him under control, because he is known as the god of chaos or the god of mischief or whatever, so I need to do it in a way that is done, because they are the gods of my grandfather, who was born in the 700s BCE. And so I will be calling on him for strength. I have so many questions that I want to ask that they really do need an answer. So after you've done your room, and you've made your sacred circle, then, you say your prayer, your blessing. You make sure that your circle is completely enclosed. You make sure that you bless above you and below you, because there's a saying, as above, so below. So you don't want anything creeping in above you or below you or around you. A lot of people use the archangels. I can't remember all of them's names. Michael and Gabriel are 2 that I do know. And some call on whatever religion they were raised with. You have Diana, who is the goddess for a lot of pagans and Celtics. The Norse, they have Freyja, and that is who I use. So, but everybody must remember that you're calling on one person with many names. So we don't know how they did it, but you must remember that Christianity, that religion, came from pagans and Druids, and they incorporated it into their modern day Christianity, along with holidays. That you can look up for yourself if you don't believe me, and you will see for yourself. So after you have your space and everything cleaned up, and you filled your room with smoke like I did on the last one and everything, you will ground and relax, and you will just float, basically. The day of the reading, you want to make sure that you take a very hot bath. And I have my selenite wand that I keep on top of my crystals that I use in my bath. I have, quartz, I have citrine, I have blue lace agate, I have blue amethyst, I have obsidian, and I have rose quartz. And I put them in my bath, and I make a circle that I sit in with the stones around me. And I sometimes will put tea in my water to help draw out any negativity that's inside. But you want to also do your meditation there. You can lay back in the water, breathing in and breathing out through your mouth, letting everything just float into the water, because you can ground yourself in water. believe it or not. Um, it doesn't necessarily have to be dirt or anything. I can ground in water. I can look into fire and ground myself, and I can ground in dirt. I haven't tried to do it in air yet, but one of these days I'll try that. And you always call on the entities of nature that you know of to help you do your readings. And then your bath. After you have done your bath and you dry off, make sure you don't use any chemicals on your body. Try to wash your hair in something natural. Let it air dry so that, you know, there's no toxins in it. And then you will come back out to your room, as like I will, and you will sage everything all over again. A new moon reading or anything, it has a schedule that I follow, that I try to make sure that everything is done before. My pennants, or pendulums as they're called. This one is a black obsidian. It has copper on the inside, as you can see. Makes it a little bit more powerful because copper is a very good conductor. It's on a copper chain and everything. And I will probably do what is known as a blood reading, which is where I will take some of my own blood and put on the tip of the pendulum to energize it with my energy to get the answers that I feel we need. I will also use what is known as a milk quartz. And this is known as a volumizer or an amplifier. And it should amplify 3 times what a normal pendulum will do. And with them together, I'm hoping I get a much better reading. I think I'm going to hold one while the obsidian does its thing. I will be, like I said, I will be calling on the gods of my ancestors. Being of Norse heritage, is very important to me to call on them, and to call on my grandfather to help me with the strength. My grandfather was a chieftain, and he was a berserker, and he fought, he killed, and everything. He eventually married a French princess and became the Duke of Francia, which is, I think, modern-day Normandy. And like I said, I'm not going to give his name and stuff. And I did have a question that came in when I had explained once before that of my heritage. And no, we don't do blood eagles. That's it. We go to jail if we do something like that. And going to jail is not something that I really want to do. Okay. So I had to keep tabs on my time. So when we do the readings, we will have complete and utter cooperation, I'm hoping, from all the gods that I call upon and my grandfather. The reason I want to find out about this farmhouse is because somebody asked somebody else. I'm not going to give out any names. And they didn't give the name of the person that they were asking for, but they had told her that he had had leg surgery done and that he was recovering nicely and everything. So I found out that, you know, through you guys on Twitter, that he does have a farmhouse in Kent. So that would be the reason why his house looks deserted, because Julian and his wife and 2 daughters are the only ones in the family, from what I understand, that live in Los Angeles. The rest of them all live in his hometown in the UK. So what better place to recuperate is to go to your family, where your loved ones are, and recuperate and laugh and have a good time and talk over memories and stuff like that, because those kinds of things help you to heal faster. than anything negative. Him just sitting in his home in Los Angeles with no family, Julian doesn't put me in the mind of that from some of the interviews I've seen him do. He values his privacy, but he also cherishes his family and his friends and his fans above most. Because, as I said, you know, we put him where he's at, and that's a good thing, because, you know, he makes wonderful movies. He's got the voice, of what I say, of an angel, no matter what he's doing. Even when he's playing the warlock and stuff, you know, and it's the rough voice, it's still very harmonic when he speaks. So, you know, we want to make sure that all of that is done. When I come back out tomorrow, I will resage everything and stuff. I will re-bless everything. I will set up my candles. I'm going to have to fix my candle holder that I broke. Can't believe that. I will make sure that all the candles are set up correctly. For those of you who watch this tonight, if there are specific questions that you need answered, they do not have to concern him. They can be in your own personal life. Just shoot me a direct message on Twitter. I will get it, and whatever name you want to go by and stuff, and I will put that into the reading as well. New moon is always better to find out what's, you know, is ahead of you. Full moon is just that, full moon. So that is the strongest moon that I can think of, and you know, that's for different things. A lot of us use the full moon for curses, you know, because we get that from the movies, or hexes, or, you know, whipping out the storm water and throwing things back to people. But a new moon is to start a whole new, it's a rebirth is what it is. And I hate to use this as an example, but if you watched Armageddon Warlock, it makes a rune symbol, and it's a bee, and it was supposed to stand for the birth of the warlock. Okay, yes, we do use that rune in our runes for the Norse. All of my markings are that. You know, we have it for Odin and for the Allfather, which is Odin, and Thor, and Tyr, and of course Loki. We have one for strength and one for protection. So, you know, that way I stay protected. When I do the video tomorrow, I will probably wear my Loki shirt, which is the double serpents, and my medallions will be showing, along with my rings that I had made with all of them symbols and everything. I want to try to get as much positive energy into this reading so that we know what's going on, we know what is the truth and what is a lie. As I say, pendulums can't lie, but, you know, not everybody believes like me to tell the truth. There might be people out there who do pendulum readings. You don't see what their hand is doing, and a lot of people who make things, you know, they don't have a problem with lying. I show you what my hand does and the whole 9 yards, okay? You know, like this one I have never used. So, you know, what is yes? Okay, what is no? You see, side to side. What is maybe? And it's starting to go into a clockwise circle. Okay. What is I don't know, or ask again? And it's going in a counterclockwise. And as you can see, my hand does not move. You know, but that's a short chain. This one, the longer chains, I've been really working with them so I don't shake as much, because I don't feel like I get a good reading if I'm shaking. But I have managed to do it by pushing the board forward a little bit and being able to lean on my elbow. And as you can see, what is yes? And it's swinging up and down, and my hand is not moving. This is why I try to show my hand when I'm doing it, so you can see that I'm not doing this or this, because if you got your hand up here, you don't know if somebody is pushing it, which I'm using my little finger to push it or to stop it, and then, see what I mean? This is where you have to be careful, because it's a trap, and I don't like them, and I don't like people who do that. So remember what I told you. Make sure that if you try to do these yourself, anybody can learn how to use a pendulum. Trust me. If you're afraid to, that's fine. But even just for meditation, you want to make sure that you have your sacred circle, that you have your colored candles that you want. Yellows and browns and golds are great for focusing on and concentrating and meditating with. Black candles are for negativity. You want to take the negativity away. White candles are for positive. Red candles are for strength. So always remember that. Purple candles are also for strength. There's a few other things they're good for, and they're also the colors of some of the goddesses that I follow. Green is candles are for money, wealth, but only use those if you are seeking help, not to make yourself rich, because it'll backfire on you. You'll lose everything. Green is also Loki's color, so that's why I use it. Odin's color is red. Tyr's color is red and blue. Thor's color is red and blue. Loki's, bless his heart, is green. You can do different things with the candles. Make sure you have your stones. Make your circle. Remember to do the as above, so below thing. You know, this space up here is sacred. This space below is sacred. And when you're doing the circle, you would start with the east. The space on the east is sacred. The space on the west is sacred. The space on the north is sacred. And the space on the south is sacred. And you want to make it big enough so that you can kind of move around in it when you're doing it. You can draw an imaginary line with your finger or with a white candle. Just draw the circle that way. Don't put salt on your floor. I found out the hard way. It doesn't come out. And that was many, many years ago. Like I said, you can go to stores and find the incense sticks and stuff like that. If you have a new wave or a new age type of store that sells crystals and stuff, you can check there for sage and stuff. If you have what we call a Dollar Tree, it'd be like Family Dollar, General Dollar, something like that. You know, you can find the bottles. You can make your own holy water. Anybody can make holy water, not just Catholics. You know, you just put the this pneumonia's kicking my ass. Anybody can bless water, not just the Catholics. So remember that. You just make your water and you say a blessing over it. If you're going to try your hand at writing spells, make sure that you have a large book that you can write in. Do not, if you mess up the spell, do not tear it out of the book. If you do, make sure that you burn it. You don't want to leave it around for somebody to find. Spell writing is hard. I'm still working on a lot of my spells. I read a lot of books, and whatever comes to mind is what I do. I'm trying to think anything else. on a new moon, like I said, this is basically it. You know, make sure that you, before you do your reading on the new moon, or before you do a meditation on the new moon, make sure that you cleanse yourself spiritually, your body, your hair, everything. You want to be absolutely what I call spotless to do that meditation, because it helps you to relax and to concentrate. So that's a lot in it that you want to do. Make sure that you have everything that you need before you start your meditation. I know I have some friends that are shamans, and they're in the process of doing theirs too. Some of you, I have noticed, are very sensitive, so you might want to check out some books on sensitivities, empaths, intuition, stuff like that. It might help you to better understand yourself, and put yourself on a schedule to a better road. You can go online to Google Play. You can find a lot of apps that you can download for, like, goddesses, for readings, daily oracles, for runes, for daily divination, things like that. I carry them on my phone. You can get them for a tarot card reading, where you can pull a card to see how your day is going to be. You can do a past, present, and future, and stuff like that. But like I said, we need to find out the truth of what's going on with Julian. I also noticed that a couple of days after he disappeared, his new movie, The Ghosts of Monday, had its premiere, and he wasn't there. And it was supposed to go directly to theaters afterwards, is the way I understood it. Yesterday, I'm going through to find things to watch, and Amazon Prime Videos picked up and contracted that movie to play on their movie schedule and everything. I mean, it's $3.99 to rent, but that's unusual for a movie to be picked up that fast by Amazon. I do have streaming channels that, depending on the company that makes the movie, they don't go to the theaters. Universal is one of them. It goes directly to the streaming channel that I have Universal with, and so that's how I got to see Megan. That's how I got to see Halloween Kills. But I'm confused about why Ghost of Mondays is already on a streaming channel, and why it didn't go to theaters. If it did go to theaters, then it didn't last very long. It lasted maybe 1 or 2 days. That's the deal. I saw some things in the movie Armageddon, which cracked me up. There's a part where Julian is driving the orange sports car with the number on it, and he's going down the highway, and he picks up that hooker, and then she starts running her mouth about, does her hair look all right? And if you remember, he just rips her hair off and tells her, look for yourself, before he throws her out of the car. And I don't know if anybody, I've watched Armageddon, I don't know how many times, and I never noticed it before, but her body lands up against a pole, and as the camera starts moving up is what made it funny. And even my husband said, that's an awful weird, coincidence. It says, welcome to San Bernardino. And, my husband was laughing, and he said, well, maybe that's why the San Bernardino police and sheriff's department don't want to look for him. They kind of embarrassed him. I don't know where this little town was that it was supposed to be made in. So I can't reference what town, but it must be something close to mountains or something like that. It has to be in the San Bernardino area, maybe further, a little further north or south. because of the way the shops are done. They look like they're adobe. So I thought that was a rather strange coincidence. There was another one, but I can't place it. There was a reference that struck me as being rather strange. But if I think about it, I will let you know. I'm going to go now, get all this ready, because I've done one cleaning today, and then I will do another one tonight. I will make sure everything is done. Oh, the Druids, that was it. They, in Armageddon, at the beginning of the movie, they foretold his birth. Okay, and she wore a stone around her neck, and then they put the other stones with it, and it stopped the birth of the warlock. So, and then you notice that they all got stolen, and they only had a few. And they used the description that the only way to kill a warlock is with a tempered blade from the Holy Grail. Well, I don't know what the Holy Grail is, so that's it. But I do know that the runes they used, every last one of them, were also used by the pagans, the Norse, the Druids, and a few other people, and we used them as language, sending messages and stuff like that. So with that, it's something to think about, how much Julian's movies actually are things that are happening, things that we use in everyday life. That may be why some of us are having dreams and some of us are not. You can go to sleep at night by putting a piece of selenite underneath your pillow, and it'll help clear out your head and help you to sleep better. And it's a good thing. It stopped my night terrors for a while. I still have them, but not as bad as I used to. So, I mean, it's something that you can use. I use amethyst and other things with the selenite underneath my pillow, so that at least I can try to sleep. I've been like that my whole life, so, you know, it's a good thing. I was talking about spells. You can get little books like this at the dollar stores and stuff. And you can write down your thoughts and everything, or your schedules, and things that you want to do. They're college course books. I have many different ones, but the one I'm working on now is very big. And so, but like I said, any questions after you watch this, shoot me in a DM, direct message to me on Twitter. Like I said, it doesn't have to involve Julian. It could be something that you're going through right now that you don't know how to deal with, you don't know how to cope with. I will do a reading with whatever it is that you need answered. I don't like doing personal readings face-to-face or anything like that, so that's why I said send it in a DM, and then when it's quiet and I can ask the questions for you, I can. And the answers I get, I can send back to you in a DM. But make sure that whatever questions you ask are simple yes and no questions. Because like I said, these are new pendants or pendulums. They can be worn as as a necklace. But I don't want to bog them down. My other ones are just flat out exhausted. And so they need time to rest. And hopefully tomorrow's reading will go good and we'll get the answers that we want. So I want to go get this uploaded, and so you guys can watch it and everything. All my love to you, and blessed be.